So moving right on with the enterprise and industrial track, we're going to be pivoting a little bit from discussing development in MR and AR to talking about some of the sort of underlying sort of pipelines and underlying technologies that facilitate the exchange and transfer of data within the metaverse. So our next session, as we continue our concurrent sessions and as the expo hall is now open, our next session here in the enterprise and industrial track is from data source to extraction for the full value of data, empowering enterprises in a decentralized way. So it's my pleasure to introduce to the main stage Mr. Darwin Jocson, who is the manager and IT business engagement lead for Mercedes-Benz Singapore. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Mr. Darwin Jocson.
Yep. Am I audible? Yeah. Hi, thank you, David. Thank you very much, guys, for staying. Yeah. My name is Darwin Jocson. I am the business engagement lead for Mercedes-Benz. You saw my photo. This is the reality. That's just an angle, you know. So I'm a little bit slim on that photo, basically. So yeah, maybe you're wondering why we will be talking about data sharing within Mercedes-Benz. Why not talk about cars and, you know, CATCHA 3D model of Mercedes-Benz cars, right? In Mercedes-Benz, we're not just a car company, just to let you know. We're also a technology company, which we develop technologies not only for cars, but for many other domains and many other sectors. So to move on, with regards to the AR and VR technologies, we'll talk about data sharing and data exchanges. So we all know that in AR and VR technologies, where you blend virtual and reality and experiences, you're generating significant amount of data from the interactions and from the sensors or environmental sensing. Then, with those innovations that you have seen yesterday and today, you are also depending on large data sets to be able to generate those images, rendering those virtual realities, and tracking those things that you need to track on the VR. Now, with a growing emphasis on decentralized data exchanges now, and emphasis on a data platform, basically, this fosters collaboration among developers on AR and VR technology, and also among researchers and innovators. So in every domain, not only in AR, VR, but in every domain to collaborate with and to have the data across domains to be able to generate and interact with VR, AR, and XR technology. However, it raises a privacy concern on how you will handle data and how you adhere to data protection and regulations, ensuring the proper use of personal data if you collected it, basically. So this is the context of our discussion for today. Now, in Mercedes-Benz, we give a lot of emphasis on data. Basically, big corporations, even small corporations, have data. You agree with me? Yes or yes? So, however, there are considerations in data sharing. Data sharing is not just, a straightforward thing wherein you just share your data with counterparts. No, it's not like that. There's a lot of considerations that you need to adhere or to check in data sharing. So a few years ago in Mercedes-Benz, we actually discussed about data sharing, data exchange, and data monetization. And we have raised this concern and think about how we can solve these considerations in data sharing. So now, the first consideration is data that are in silos. Do you agree with me that if the data are in silos, these are data that are undiscoverable, right? So it means like the data that are in silos is only good for its primary use. So maybe think about the data that you have. Maybe not the grand data of AR/VR technology, any data that you have in your hard drive that you are not sharing. So it's the same thing as the data with AR and VR technology that is being generated on this AR and VR app, which they put in silos and undiscoverable. So those data has to be brought out so that other people or other enterprises can look upon it and think about the value that they can generate from those data. Another thing is that there is a concern on data privacy and sovereignty. On a traditional data exchanges or data exchange platform, you have to upload your data into central repository before you can do data exchanges with other enterprises or with other domains. Now, that poses a concern on data sovereignty and data privacy because as a data owner, you wouldn't want your data to be in control of the third party. You want your data to be in full control of you or the enterprise, right? So it means like, as a data owner, what you want is full control of your data, but still allow you to exchange data with other enterprises. So that's the thing that it's very hard to do now because of the traditional data exchange platforms that we have. And another thing is the cross-border data exchanges respecting markets regulations. These are for some, global enterprises which transfers data from one jurisdiction to another. And this has been brought up in many data events and data conferences, how to manage cross-border data exchanges respecting market regulations. So if you do that, you make data exchanges or data sharing complicated. It's more and more complications when you do this. However, to solve those issues mentioned, we started this initiative in Mercedes-Benz to build this state-of-the-art, award-winning product, data exchange platform, which we call Acentrik. Say again? Acentrik. So this Acentrik is allowing privacy-preserving compute or the privacy-preserving features, which is something that sets us apart from most data exchanges. Because in Acentrik, we allow algorithm to run on the data asset where the data asset is. The data that you own or the enterprise own will not be uploaded to a central repository for you to be able to run algorithm on it and to extract insights. But then, you just have to run the algorithm within the data owner's premise. I will explain that later on in the next slides. And then we also allow secure and transparent data exchanges. Actually, it's not written here, but we use blockchain technology to record or to save all the data exchange transaction on a blockchain. Why is that so? Because we want it to be transparent, and when you use blockchain, you cannot change any record that you have written on blockchain. It's immutable, and you cannot delete it. So it means like the transaction is verifiable. And also, since we are using blockchain, we also make use of tokenization and leverage on it for data access and data control on our platform. As I mentioned, we have absolute data sovereignty because of the decentralized nature of Acentrik. The data stays on the data owner's premise, so the data owner has the full control of the data asset. Even Acentrik don't have access to the data assets. And lastly, again, cross-border data exchanges. In Acentrik, we have a way to be able for you to do cross-border data exchanges or to do compliant cross-border data exchanges by doing a privacy-preserving compute, like removing all the private data in running your algorithm and only get the result set output. And by the way, we have given this, technology as an entry in the Business Technology Excellence Awards in 2023. And we have won. In SBR Awards 2023, our technology has won for the best blockchain product and also in the Tech Ascensions Award. So, this award-winning technology actually is revolutionizing the global data exchanges. Now, to move on, this solution basically is not only for Mercedes-Benz. We are working on it. We are actually implementing it in Mercedes-Benz, and we have many use cases that are coming out within the Mercedes-Benz to use this data exchange platform. And we are not going to keep it on our own. Basically, if you require such data exchange platform within your organization or outside your organization, we will be able to, we can be able to openly discuss this after this talk. Okay, what does this white label solution or Acentrik can offer to you? We can offer customized branding. Basically, you can have your own branding. You have your own logos in this platform, and you can have your own colors. It can be like, magenta if you want, right? And also, it can be on your domain-specific platform, meaning if you want to have a data exchange platform within AR and VR technology domain, then you can make it for AR and VR and XR technology domain. You can control who will participate on this platform. You can invite data scientists to make sense of the data that is generated in AR, VR technology, and you can also invite other AR, VR technology, application developers or innovators to make sense of data and to exchange data with each other. And lastly, we offer privacy-preserving compute. And this is part of the platform, the algorithm that can run on the data assets, and that particular module will be part of it. And another good thing about this is that if you have this platform and you're operating this platform, you can have your own business model, build your business model around this platform, whether it's transaction-based or subscription-based for your participants, basically. Right. Now, I wanted to explain to you how this privacy-preserving compute is working, how it works. Maybe you're asking, hey, Darwin, how can we run an algorithm on the data owner's premise? Now, say, for example, you are the data consumer, and we have two environments. One is the Acentrik platform environment and the data provider's environment. The data provider's environment, think about it, it is away from the Acentrik platform within other premise or within other location, right? So when a data consumer, say for example, triggers a buy on a Acentrik platform, means it's either you wanted to buy a data asset that is required in your AR and VR app, or you wanted to run an algorithm on a data asset because you wanted to just extract insights on your AR and VR app. Let's say you wanted to run an algorithm because this is a compute data flow, so we discuss about computations of algorithm. Right, so you trigger a buy on the data asset and you wanted to run an algorithm. So what Acentrik will do, it will go to the data owner's premise. Whoever owns the data will have their own edge node on their environment, and then Acentrik will trigger the algorithm to be on that particular environment and run the computation through the edge computing node. Once the insights or the result set output has been given or the computation has been done, then the data consumer will be given a notification that the computation is done and the result set output is ready for download. Now, if you think about AR and VR technology, you require insight sometimes for you to be able to render correctly. on your AR and VR application. In this flow, it is manual. The way I explain it to you, this is a manual flow. But this flow can be automated and connected because Acentrik is not only an orchestrator, but is a connector. That you can connect your application within Acentrik and run the SDK, and you can get the data or insights that you require. Now, this is a sample use case, basically, for AR and VR technology. So this is for the creation of the immersive experience for VR mapping for AR and VR companies. To simulate, the participants here are one is the data provider and a data consumer. The data provider is geospatial company A, and the data consumer is the AR/VR company X. So basically, the AR and VR company will run the algorithm to determine which areas are most prone to specific hazards such as earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, wildfires, and landslides. So this will help the building codes, planning evacuation routes, and developing emergency response strategies. So once the AR and VR company got the extracted data or the insights from the geospatial company, then the VR app can offer users an immersive way to understand their environment using AR and VR technology. So this is just a simple example of the integration of geographic hazards data with AR/VR technologies. And there are also other use cases like getting the emergency response drill, infrastructure planning, historical hazards visualizations, and many more. So think about the data that you require in your use case to be able to create AR and VR application, whether it's on environmental, public, or whether it's on automotive, mobility. Think about the data that you require. And that could be those enterprises that can provide those data can be a participant in your platform. And think about the data that you can generate in AR and VR app. Those are the data that you can bring out and get value out of it. You can even have another revenue stream for those data for your company. Now, this is our vision. Our vision in Mercedes-Benz for Acentrik is to enable organizations worldwide to fully unlock and leverage data for new value streams and opportunities. And with that, thank you very much for listening. And I'm here the whole day. If you have any questions, you can just come to me. Maybe I will be there in the coffee shop or just roaming around. You can come to me. Or you can scan this QR code to connect to our LinkedIn page, and you can get more information about Acentrik. Thank you very much for listening. Been a good audience.